This is, from Austin Cameron says Mark is a supremacist who endorses child genital mutilation and enslaving via hormone subscription services. He worships arguments of authority by faith. Did we discover math or invent it, Mark?
Okay, so we invented math for a start. You basically have to you have to strawman the hell out of me and throwing these accusations.
We invented math, guys.
Traditions and cultures, and then they end up going to war with each other and killing each other because they don't agree on these arbitrary metrics at all. And all Mark is giving you is based on Mark's stance-dependent reason. You should do what fucking Mark says. He's the unchanging standard of all universal morality. And that's why Andrew Wilson rejects that, because I'm not fucking stupid. Unlike,
well, you are.
Unlike my
opponent,
opponent,
manning my position.
That is your position reduced. You just don't understand it because you're not smart enough.
It was up to me and my stance. That's not what I said. I didn't infer anything.
I didn't say it was up to you, Mark.
And when there has been tribal, can I please speak? Can I please speak?
Or Mark, yell louder. Yell louder, Mark. Yell louder.
Are you going to just talk over the top of me? You've got no respect.
Mark, we're having a discussion.
Okay,
I'm sorry you can't.
So the reason why is because you get this tribalism and tribes doing this. Basically, we just move into bigger and bigger societies. At one point, countries didn't exist, and then we all worked together and made a productive country. We can work together with other countries, but Andrew is a nationalist and doesn't like other countries and other peoples. That's fine. He can have that. Me, I would like a world that works productively for the benefit of all. And I'm sorry that offends you, Andrew.
So, Mark, actually, look at this, a point of agreement. I also would like that world. But understanding how different humans are from each other with their cultures, traditions, environments, the various things that they want, don't want, accept as harm, accept as good. I understand that what you are doing is trying to slingshot us with a confetti gun towards just your own preferences, which you would try literally to get rid of me if you could, if you thought I would become a dictator of the United States and impose my preferences. But honestly, Mark, that's actually what you're doing. You're just trying to impose your preferences on everybody else by saying you're all fucking wrong. And me, Mark, I'm right. The unilateral ruler of all of morality, Mark, is correct.
That's what's so funny about these human secularists or secular humanists. They hate Christians, and they hate how Christians always try to impose their morality on people, right? They hate that they always try to impose their beliefs on people. But they do the same thing. Like atheist, human secularist, whatever you want to call them, they also want to impose their beliefs. They claim to be like, well, just live and let live. But I mean, how can you say that after we've went through the C-19 lockdowns and stuff? Like, how can you honestly say that when we went through that?
I didn't say that I enforce my will.
They give me a stance, independent reason for
humanism is not enforced. I said it is a philosophy that people can choose to follow if they want a better world. So I never said anything about enforcement. It's Andrew that wants to basically put people, lock them up.
God, you can't have policy without enforcement, dude.
And what he thinks is correct. There are certain things that are so harmful towards others that we have to stop them, but we want to help those people work with us. And the whole point is, and this is just a fucking dodge, like seriously, we want to work towards the betterment of all. And, Andrew's just misrepresenting what we actually believe, which isn't surprising, really.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Can we move on, or does Andrew
hang on. You were done talking, dude. Why I can't even respond.
Yeah, but you're starting another debate. The question
I'm not.
You're just starting another debate.
I have one.
You want to have the last word,
stop,
and you're not getting it. You're
Mark,
not getting it, Andrew. You're not going to get it.
Gotta go to the next one. Sunflower said, Mark.
Holy cow. So this is during the questions. I forgot, because the Q&A part where people super chat questions or their comments, like this actually went for like a long time.
They said you would,
but this is like 2 hours. This is a long debate. This is like what, 7 hours. But a lot of it, like I forgot, like how much, how most of it was just answering the Q&A part.
Lied. They said the New Jersey public schools were covering for and moving the teachers around to different schools so they could stay as teachers. Probably, I think they're talking about like an old union.
Then that school and all of those schools involved should be shut down, closed up, lit on fire, and they should be absolutely cleaned out of anybody that was involved in it. And the institution shut down. That doesn't mean we shut down all education everywhere, because people haven't done that. But absolutely, they should be shut down. So things like the Catholic Church, Greek Eastern Orthodox Church, they should be shut down for what they have done.
But you see how that makes no sense? He says these individual parts, which are part of the whole institution, up, therefore the whole institution shouldn't be shut down, just those parts. When he moves over to the Catholic Church or Eastern Orthodoxy, he makes the claim the entirety of the churches should be shut down, not just the parts that are fucking up. You can depose a pope. You can remove, especially in Orthodoxy, corrupt bishops. We've done it all throughout the entirety of our history, in corrupt churches. Mark, why would we shut the entire Orthodox Church down because one Orthodox church did a bad thing under a bad bishop, when we have the power to remove them, Mark, just like you would with the school? Can you explain that?
Well, then I don't know about removal, but there's certainly been no, like, the Pope wasn't deposed, he wasn't removed for the things that he'd done.
Catholicism.
They also
you said
didn't
the Orthodox
lock them
Church.
up at all, even though they'd broken the law.
My church.
And they didn't lock up any of the
Orthodox
people.
Church.
They just sort of said, hey, we're going to do better with these people.
Up to the state.
There's this massive things of
up
corruption.
To the state, not to the church. Who gets locked up, Mark? Yeah, you heard what I just said. It's up to the state to lock people up, not the church. Agree or disagree?
It's just a coincidence that they never press charges against these Orthodox priests.
Oh, wait, you're saying that the Orthodox Church runs the states that they're in?
No, I'm saying that they have an undue amount of influence over the state.
Right.
Yeah, because Mark was Mark was talking about closing down all of the churches. And Andrew's like, well, if only some of the churches did bad, why do you have to close down all the churches? But meanwhile, Mark over here was defending the schools. And Andrew's like, well, wait a minute. Like, you only want to close down some schools, but with the churches, you want to close down all the churches?
So powerful people who are engaged in PDF file activity try to cover up their track. That's crazy, Mark. It's almost like that's exactly what I've been saying over and over and over.
Well, do you support releasing the Epstein files?
Yes.
Yeah, I do too. That's another point of agreement. Whoever is involved in that, it should be revealed, prosecuted, shut down. Absolutely.
Here we go. This next one from Hall Long Nate says, under secular humanism, is there anything that is universally unacceptable besides religion, Mark?
Is there any? I don't think religion is universally unacceptable. I don't like. Where'd you get that from? I think that some religions are better and some are worse. I mean, nobody's going to question that there are religions which generally are good for society. You know, they don't do much harm, and then there is, religions which are cults that kill people. I mean, come on. There's a mass spectrum of what is good and what is bad. So it's not a universal.
2248 says odds arise from gold.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, James kept muting Andrew, and I don't think he muted Mark. Maybe he did. I don't remember, but he would keep muting Andrew. So, yeah, but the Crucible version's not up. I don't think so. I have to watch it through here. And I think even if I were to go to Mark's channel, I don't think I'd be able to hear Andrew through there.
If we value life, survival, or flourishing, then pursuing well-being in society logically follows as the means to those ends.
No, that doesn't logically follow. So just saying a thing logically follows doesn't mean that it does. And by the way, you can even create things which logically follow but have false conclusions. But in this case, it doesn't even logically follow that if it's the case of,
do you not think that
X,
it logically follows that pursuing a goal gets you to the goal?
Well, no, you can get to a goal without pursuing a goal. You agree, right?
Do you agree that pursuing a goal will logically get you closer to that goal?
Not necessarily. If you can get to the goal without pursuing the goal, which you can.
So you think it's better to not pursue a goal?
No, I didn't say better. I said logically follows, stupid. Follow what I'm saying.
Yes,
do you understand
I think
the
it
difference?
Logically follows that if you pursue a goal, you'll get closer to the goal.
And can you get
if
close?
You don't pursue the goal.
And can you get closer to goals by not following goals in some instances?
Like when?
Like whenever. Is there any instance where you can get closer to a goal you have by not following it? Even by sheer coincidence. That is possible, right?
It's possible.
Then it doesn't logically follow, does it, dipshit? That's
logically
what logically following means. Now, if you were to rephrase this and say, now, Andrew, doesn't it logically follow that most of the time when you try to pursue a goal that you will achieve that goal? Doesn't it logically follow to do if X then Y? Then I would say sure, but you didn't say that, did you?
That isn't the question.
Later, James.
Yeah, I know. Which is why it doesn't logically follow.
it logically follows that if you want to get closer to a goal, you should pursue that.
No,
Wow,
Mark,
wow,
it doesn't logically
wow.
follow. I just demonstrated it for you, Mark.
Wow.
I'm sorry you don't know logic, but that's how logic works.
This one from Toby Walker says 0.72 replacement rate is very simple math. Given 10 generations, South Korea would have a population of 0.
I know.
Said, is it normal for secular humanists to deny math?
Yeah, that's basically the slippery slope, because you're assuming that the population decline is going to continue steadily for all that time, which you don't know that, and nobody knows that. And the whole thing is that also rules out anything like immigration, anything like other
immigration,
trying to address the problem. It rules out, you're basically saying, hey, if the population keeps declining as it is, if there's no change, if everybody also decides not to have children, then it's going to reach 0. There's a lot of ifs there. That's exactly what a slippery slope is. It's basically saying, hey, I know the outcomes of all these steps, and I'm going to assume that they are all true. There is no reason to think that it's going to drop to 0.
Actually, there's a lot of reason to think this. And the thing is that while Mark, I will grant to Mark, he's right in one sense, that it is the case that if you say, well, it's 100% a sure thing, but we could use that argument for everything. It's not 100% sure that even if my bathtub fell through the floor, that it wouldn't turn into a balloon and float off for 100% surety, right? That's unfortunately the way the statistics work. But here's the thing. We can map this from the year 1800 when we started tracking these things to now, and it does this.
Well, I
There's
think we should
no
wait
reason.
and find out whether
hang on,
it
Mark. Let
actually
me finish.
drops to
Mark,
0.
let me finish.
So listen, we're not I don't think it would ever drop to 0, but it's about the replacement rate, and there are countries that are having trouble with the replacement rate. I want to say, I think Andrew has cited Japan as being one of them. I think I don't know if it was North or South Korea, but they're having these issues with the birth rates and stuff. So how does Mark sit here and say, like, well, it's not going to be a problem and all this stuff? I think it's just all cope and covering up for the fact that secular humanism doesn't account for that stuff. And in fact, they're pro bringing in just immigrants just to replace the problem.
The question was for me, Andrew.
Mark, did I let you finish? Did I let you finish?
Yes, you did. But
then let me.
Do I get the final word on this?
Yeah, I'll give you the final word, but let me finish.
Thank you.
It's gone from the 1800s like this. It's dropped everywhere like a fucking rock. The only time was during the baby boom. That was the only time. And there was really small set conditionals. And that was only for certain places like the US. So yeah, we have great reason to believe that it's not going to reverse. In fact, the governments of these various countries have told us with their scientists that Mark loves so much that it's likely not going to reverse. So Mark's actually the science denier here, not you, Chatter.
Yeah, so this population, its correlation does not equal causation. And we see this within all sort of first world countries as the sort of rates of raising children actually gets higher. There's no reason to think it is actually going to continue forever until it hits 0. And I think that we should wait to see what actually happens. And hey, if we need to implement some things to encourage people to have more babies, like, for instance, offsetting the insane cost of living that's there at the moment, that would help a lot, because a lot of people choose not to have children because of the cost of living and
or give them religion.
And then they always bring up the cost of living too. Like, well, how come, if the cost of living was such an issue, how come there's so many poor people in the country having, like in the United States, how come there's so many poor people having babies? If the money and the cost of living was such an issue, it's actually like the more poor you are, the more children you're likely to have, and the more richer you are, the less children that you have. So that doesn't follow.
Religion seems to work.
Says Batu Sai says, Mark, saying human well-being is making up human well-being. How do you know the best well-being isn't to maximize the well-being of trees over humans?
Well, if that was the case, I believe that I'd be a secular treeist. And yeah, it is subjective. The reason why I care about humans is because I'm a human and not a tree.
This one coming in from Ta Gooch says, Mark, are you related to Jake?
About as smart as a tree.
Like his older brother, perhaps maybe a cousin. Who's Jake?
I don't know who Jake is.
Vincent says, again, get Mark to clarify his contradiction on nonviolence principle and his call to stop incest relationships. So, okay, I think they want a clarification. So you'd be like okay with the brothers making having relations? Like
No.
you wouldn't be ethically okay. You'd at least allow it. You wouldn't lock it up.
Well, the problem is that there's a sort of problems with coercion, problems with all kinds of things in this stuff, and that's what I'm sort of pointing to in the studies, that you get people in these things and mentally they are not well. So like a lot of people with mental health concerns, if they're doing real harm, we do have to put them somewhere, but it's not to punish them, it's to try and treat whatever thing that they're going through. That's how we address mental health concerns, not like locking them up in a prison where they're just going to get worse treatment and then they're going to do worse things when they get out. We've got to help people, not punish them.
So what if because Mark, the secular humanists, they're always like, well, we got to try to help these people. It's like, what if they don't want help though? What if they don't want it? What if the brothers in the brotherly love relationship, what if they don't want the help? Then what are you going to do, Mark? You're going to have to force them to get help. Even if you don't throw them into prison, you're still going to force them to get treatment against their will, which goes against Mark's very principle, the secular humanist principle of bodily autonomy. You're going to have to force these people one way or another. You might not be throwing them to prison, but you're going to be forcing them to do something.
Gooch says, Mark, oh, we got that one. Bubblegum Gun, was Jesus wrong for making the age of marriage 12?
Yes.
Do you have a stance independent reason for that?
Yeah, well, just based upon well-being, I don't know how marriage at 12 is good for the well-being of a child. Perhaps you can answer that one.
People ought not do that, right?
If they care about human well-being, does Jesus care about human well-being?
Is that a stance independent reason that you have for that?
No.
Okay.
This one from Maryland says, both of you have gatekeepers. Control and manipulation is basic forms of witchcraft. Pretty sure that's a bot. Miro is 409 says, so like teacher unions cover up abuse of children. Oh, we already covered that. Gabby says, Mark says he takes people for what they say. Andrew says, okay, I'm a hippopotamus. But then Mark says, nah.
Yeah, well, I kind of take people's beliefs for what they say. It's not like sort of statements of fact. It is their beliefs. So if somebody says, hey, I'm an atheist, I've got no way to check whether they're an atheist or not. If someone says, oh, I'm a Christian, I've got no way to check that. It's not like God's going to come down and tell me who's a Christian, who's not a Christian. And here's the funny thing. Christians may go, hey, we're the real Christians and they're not. And they're saying the same thing. From an outsider's perspective, there's no way to tell. So I have no way to evaluate who's got the correct claim and who isn't.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, yeah, but if you hang out with that person enough. So for instance, if someone says I'm a Christian, but then they're pro, I don't know, let's say gay marriage or something like that. Well, and they're pro transing children, like all these things, then you could kind of look at them and go, I don't think you're a Christian. Like, I don't think you are one. So you could just go by the way how they practice their beliefs in order to judge that.
All I can do is just treat the person that says, hey, I'm a Christian. Well, that is a Christian.
Mark, I'm a billionaire. Do you believe me?
No.
I don't understand, though. You have no way to verify that.
Oh, well, there's a lot of evidence to the contrary. You look fucking terrible.
What's it? Well, I don't understand. Billionaires can't look terrible?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's just your entire set. I don't have the mentality for it. I just don't believe you.
Oh, you don't believe me? I thought you just said that you believe everybody unless you can falsify the claim, which you can't. That's really weird, Mark. It's almost like you're a fucking idiot.
That's not what I said.
Yes, it is what you said. It's what you said. Yes, it is.
Did I say
Yes.
I can't evaluate beliefs? Is you being a billionaire a belief?
Yes, that would be a belief right now.
It is. Okay.
Yeah. So
Wow,
then you have to accept it, right?
Wow. Okay. So the amount of money you have is just a belief. That's
from your perspective.
What is wrong with you,
I'm
sir?
sorry. From your perspective,
why don't you
right
go
now,
out and
can you
spend the
validate
billions that you believe you have?
Didn't you just say that Didn't you just say you don't believe?
Oh, no. I believe I've got $1 billion. That's actual. Because I believe it. It must be. What is wrong with you?
idiot. Like Andrew's trying to say is that, listen, Mark has no way to verify if Andrew is a billionaire or not. So therefore, if Andrew says he's a billionaire, well, he has no choice but to believe it because he can't verify it. He doesn't have access to Andrew Wilson's bank accounts and stuff. So he would just have to take his word for it. That's what Andrew's trying to say. And Mark knows he's right, but now he has to try to flip around going, "Yo, you're stupid, you're dumb." It's like, no, I think we all know who the dumb one is here. And it ain't Andrew.
Seriously.
Well, I'm super curious. What do you
how
have
do you evaluate
how do you assess
what
that
someone believes? Yeah, well, how do you evaluate what someone believes?
That's a really good question, right? So, like, if a guy, for instance, were to tell me that he was a woman, I would literally look at them and I would say, nah, you see, I have all of these great standards that I can apply to this, and then I can falsify that stupid ass fucking belief. Not you, though, Mark.
You're obsessed with this. No, that's just
You're
gender, which is the sort of secondary presented in a society.
Yeah, okay.
That's
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Mark. No, Mark, no. Oh my goodness. Of course he's going to defend transgenderism. Of course.
not actually the sexes, which is what you're talking about. So, that's completely different. And, you love this topic. You just love it so much. You're obsessed.
Well, it proves that you're liars.
Crazy.
Proves that you're liars.
Yeah.
You're all liars. You're all
all
fucking liars. You just shut up. You're a liar.
You're a liar, man. You're
right.
an absolute liar. You wouldn't even be honest about your own beliefs.
Yeah,
can
men be women? Can men be women? Cue ball?
Dishonest.
Can men be women?
Okay, we're gonna.
Good to see you, Wi-Fi.
Farm says, I'd ask Mark
saw you in the
question,
chat yesterday for this.
Mischaracterize and falsely equivocate in the name of philosophizing. Mark, I'll give you a chance to respond to that. Oh, sorry. I actually needed you. Sorry about that. You're unmuted.
Yeah, apparently, I'm not allowed to philosophize. Look, everything really comes down to philosophy whenever you're talking about thinking about stuff. And you might not like the takes that I've got on things, but I certainly do answer honestly as I see them. And like Andrew, you can throw insults and go, "Oh, you're a moron, you're an idiot," all this stuff. Yeah, but that is actually what I believe. So you can throw all the insults you want. Look, I'll talk to you in your own language. Throw all the insults that you want. Here's my other cheek. How's that?
I'll definitely take the other cheek too. The thing is it's not an ad hom.
Really?
No, it's not an ad hom if it's true.
Insults in debate are usually always ad homs because they're not just, they're trying to categorize somebody and sort of, it's almost like poisoning the well.
I can address your argument
or
and
attack them.
Isn't ad hominem, from my understanding, it's not just like insulting someone, like calling someone a jackass during a debate. That's not an ad hominem. But if I were to be like, well, why should I listen to you? You're just a jackass anyway, or something. I think that's an ad hominem. I think that's more like what it is. Like no one should listen to you because you're this thing or because of this or that.
But then the attacking the
That's
argument.
great. I've attacked your argument.
Are always a logical fact.
It's like I think when they criticize Andrew for his smoking, I think that's more of an ad hominem because they can't beat him on the argument. So then they go for the smoking, or they go for the, I feel bad for your wife, or all these things, or, oh, you can't open an olive jar. That's a new one, which, by the way, how sad is it that, an olive jar was able to do what none of these idiots were able to do. And that's defeat Andrew Wilson.
Oh, they're not always logical fallacies.
Where you are presenting arguments, although this would
wrong.
Maybe not be categorized as a debate because I don't think Wilson's capable of debating.
Well, first
which
of all,
is funny because he runs a debate
wrong.
like teaching school, and this is the best he can do.
Point.
Yeah, I mean, you should take it because you got worked. And here's the thing.
Oh, dude.
You don't even understand what fallacies
are. This isn't a
are.
debate. This is
you
Wilson
don't even
having
understand
a
what
tantrum.
fallacies are.
This is Wilson having a tantrum.
All right, we got to go to the next one. Early Bird.
Is that it? Do you have a stance independent reason for that, Mark?
Early Bird 2248 says you.
Yeah, it's objectively true. You're an idiot.
Yeah, it's objectively true now.
Oh, that's a statement of fact. That's not a position on morality.
Oh,
I'm not saying you ought to be an idiot. I'd rather you ought not to be an idiot, but you are an idiot.
Oh, it's a statement.
Hate to do this, but Early Bird 2248 says you first have to prove the Bible is truly God's word. Otherwise, you're just assuming your morals are divine, and you're stuck with the same foundation problem as everyone else. Andrew.
Oh, the favorite atheist or secular humanist go-to. Well, you prove God real. I'm surprised Mark never said, well, if God is real, how come I'm bald? How come he let me go bald? I'm pretty sure Mark is just angry at God because God took his hair away.
Yeah. So, why do I need to do that for the effects of the society of or the effects of Christianity on society? Why do I need to do that?
This one
Can somebody actually explain that to me?
Yeah, so it's because he's dodging foundations. He doesn't want to talk about foundations.
Because is the debate about foundations?
Dodging foundations.
Is the debate about foundations?
Oh, I talked about my foundations. It's
That's nice.
You can't do the same.
It's nice that you did that. Is the debate about foundations?
This one from Katara says, God ordered the unaliving of babies and toddlers. I think that's for you, Andrew.
So do the secular progressives every single day. I don't understand. They should say God's based.
Toddlers, really?
Yeah, every day. Yeah.
Yeah, toddlers, really. Are you lying?
Yeah, well, if you kill
they
them
unalive toddlers.
Yeah, if you kill them, if you kill them before they become toddlers.
What's a toddler, Andrew? What's a toddler, Andrew?
You.
This one from Made by Jim Bob.
So yeah, obviously Andrew's trying to get at the whole abortion argument, which I mean, listen, technically they're not toddlers, but you're still killing lives, unborn babies. Yeah, the secular humanists for the most part are for that. And so who are they to judge God? Because God killed or God committed a genocide, which included babies.
You just lie. Okay, liar. Yeah.
This one from Made by Jim Bob. Appreciate your question. Says, Mark,
I was dying at that Wi-Fi.
Suicide is good to decrease suffering for some cases. Why isn't suicide unaliving good for?
Dude, Dust Man, just take away his eyebrows too. Just take away all hair that he has on his head. Oh my goodness. Oh man, that'd be hilarious.
TRANS folks, doesn't it decrease suffering? I asked you to let me try to ask you to unmute again.
Yeah, thank you. So the problem is consent. Like with all the assisted suicide and things like that. Sorry, probably suicide. You have consent of that person and they are allowing it to happen. That is a totally different story than taking away somebody's life. I don't know why that wouldn't be a distinction. Like why having consensual relations with your wife is different than holding a woman down and doing horrible. Like I don't even get why that wouldn't be a distinction here.
This one from AJ Anderson says, Mark.
Yeah, but I mean, there's still to Christians, unaliving yourself, even with consent, that's horrible. Like we don't advocate for that. We all believe life is precious. And so unaliving yourself, that's a sin. That's not good. You don't do that. But with secular humanists, it's okay as long as you give consent. Yeah, it's okay. Just consent. That's it. It's all about consent with them. But unless it's two brothers that want to have brotherly love, well, then, consent. Nah, no.
Have done it. That should be shut down. Absolutely. The institution should be shut down. Anybody that is doing that. But I also think there's another problem, which is the circumcision of children as well. I mean, that
hold on.
You
go back a little bit.
Okay, liar. Yeah.
This one from Made by Jim Bob. Appreciate your question. Says, Mark, if assisted suicide is good to decrease suffering for some cases, why isn't suicide unaliving good for TRANS folks? Doesn't it decrease suffering? I asked you to mute again.
Yeah, thank you. So the problem is consent. Like with all the assisted suicide and things like that.
So I went a little too far back.
Way with children at multiple times higher rates than priests. Should JUDAISM be shut down?
Well, I don't think that like a religion should be outlawed or anything like that, but I think that if certain temples have done it, that should be shut down. Absolutely. The institution should be shut down. Anybody that is doing that, but I also think there's another problem, which is the circumstance.
How is Mark still talking when Andrew just straight up laughing at him because of what an idiot he is? Like, so full of shit. these people are.
Decision of children as well. I mean, that is literally mutilation of a child.
Oh yeah, like you
Why
care
aren't we
about the
doing anything
mutilation
about
of
that?
children. By the way, the
I
thing
do,
is so
actually,
funny
yeah.
is now you've changed your
Oh, yeah,
answer.
with
The Catholic
abos.
Church should have been completely shut down. Synagogues, not them though.
Well, it depends. Is like, do they have a central leader?
Yeah. Well, yeah. But wait, I'm
Who's
sorry.
the central leader?
If
Who's the
they
central
have
leader?
if there's central leadership inside of Orthodoxy and Orthodox Judaism, and it turns out that they essay children at a higher rate than the Catholic Church, they should be shut down, right?
Well, whoever is like their church, if they've got a central leader that is permitting it, then yes. If they've just got like temples that are doing it and that's as high as it goes,
That's the
then
same.
those temples should be shut down.
But then, why would you apply that to Orthodoxy then, dummy?
Well, if Orthodoxy, that church should be shut down, not the entire thing.
That's
Like,
not what
what are
you
you
said.
talking
That's
about?
not what you said.
No, I
bro.
said that about the Catholic Church,
No,
you fucking
bro.
idiot.
So
I said the Catholic Church where the Pope was involved. Was the Pope involved in cover-ups at that point?
Is that Pope still there?
Well, he died. He wasn't removed.
So he's not still there?
Well, he wasn't
So
removed.
then what's the problem, Mark?
He wasn't removed.
He
We
wasn't,
knew
but he's
about
not
it,
there
he
now.
wasn't-
Why would you shut it down now?
Oh,
The Pope is not doing it.
So Wilson's solution to abuse is wait for the person to die.
No,
and
that's
then
your
go,
Mark.
nothing we could do.
Mark, do you
nothing
want
we
to-
could do.
Mark, do you
Wow,
want to
this
shut
is
them
a
down?
Monster down here.
Would you like to shut them
listen
down?
to this monster.
Would you like to shut the Pope, who didn't have anything to do with the abuse, down?
What do you mean? Did I say
Would
that?
you yeah, because that's what I'm saying. It's the stupidest shit I ever heard. You want the Catholic Church shut down because the Pope, the previous Pope who's not there anymore, was engaged in this, but the current Pope who's not, you still want the Catholic Church shut down. Do you realize how fucking stupid that is?
How long was that going on for under the
Bro,
Pope's nose?
Bro, do you
How
want
long?
the Catholic Church shut down, even though this Pope
No, I don't
has-
think the entire. No, not the entire church, but those
now
churches
you just
that
contradicted
participated.
yourself again. You're like a walking contradiction, cue ball.
Okay, Smoke Pit. Say what you like.
one.
It's
I will,
really between
Fester.
you.
This
Yeah,
one
sure.
from-
Sure,
This
sure,
one.
Alcatraz Jim.
What Alcatraz Jim? What the hell is that? But I was, yeah, I was freaking dying when he called him Fester. I was like, oh man, why didn't I see it before? All this time, I was just calling him Lex Luthor, and Fester was right there this whole time.
Like, go for it.
Samar.
That wasn't
Samar-
even good.
Samar
You're a
Road.
fucking idiot.
2 seconds.
Sure, cancer
let's see.
sticks.
Sommer says, Mark, what do you think of the argument that Christian moral undergirding is a useful, necessary fiction? I'm an atheist, but I fear secular humanism running rampant more than Christianity. Thanks for your super chat, Sommer.
No, it's definitely not a undergirding that's necessary. We see a lot of secular societies, particularly Japan. They have fantastic politeness. They're a good society. There's certain things about we wouldn't share with them
Butterbean, that's a
culturally,
good
but
one too.
they didn't have Christianity.
I also would have accepted Kingpin on Ozempic. That's a good one too.
You know, Ash Wednesday down here wants to sort of intimate that Christianity is absolutely necessary, and there's good things in Christianity. I will admit that, but we don't need it to be good people.
Oh,
Good people are good
need
without
it.
Christianity.
No.
We don't need it at all.
I mean, Christian ethics, you just have a bunch of, morals and ethics under Christianity, where secular humanism, there's none. It's just all about how each of them feel at the time. That's it. And about how what majority feels, or even what the scientists say. That's about it. And it changes. The scientists could be wrong the next day. The majority could change their minds the next day. Absolute joke atheism / secular humanism is.
Oh, sorry about that, Andrew. Andrew's been on
Ash
mute
Wednesday
for a long
wants to
time. Go ahead,
start.
Andrew.
I just want to make sure there are really good people in that country where you can buy 13-year-old girls' panties at the fucking vending machine, right, Mark?
What's the age of marriage in some states, Wilson? Is it 13?
And Christians want to remove that. They want to remove that.
No, the Christians put it there. What are you talking about?
The Christians did?
Yeah.
Which state?
The
did the Christians
evangelical,
put it in?
the evangelical, you fucking idiot.
Shut-
The evangelicals put it
I'm
there.
sorry. That's crazy. I could have sworn that the state took over marriage, Mark, not the church.
This
The
one.
people that voted for it were evangelicals.
Oh,
you
wait.
absolute
So,
moron.
so politicians who can unilaterally make policy after they're voted in could wrote those
Unilaterally.
policies.
Okay, you don't know
yeah.
what that word means, do you?
Yes.
Yeah, well, why would that have been on the ballot in the first place? Who would have put that ballot in the first place? They're going to be like, nah, we're not going to put that on there.
Yes, I do. Politicians can make those policies absent the consent of the very people who voted them in. So the state made it so that that was the policy, not the church, dummy.
Yeah, in these Christian states. Congratulations.
Oh, so now they're Christian states?
Aren't they? They're majority Christian.
So it's not a separation of church and state then?
So this is the lies that are being told. Like, it is these Christian politicians voted for by Christian peoples, but suddenly when they do something horrendous, like lower the age of marriage, which they're stating is one of their Christian values, oh, they're not Christians anymore. This is.
By the way, let me look something up real quick. Let me verify something, because no, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Because there's something for in California, there is no legal age for marriage. So technically, technically someone underage here in California, I don't think you're going to call California a Christian state anytime soon, are you, Mark? The state, which is an abortion sanctuary state. Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to call it a Christian state, right? Well, here in California, there is no legal age for marriage. So a 13-year-old girl can get married as long as she has the parents' consent. So what do you think about that, Mark?
Is the Texas sharpshooter. You count all the things that Christianity has done right, and when somebody does something wrong, oh, they're not Christian anymore. No, it's not with us. That's somebody else. That is somebody else. No, that's Christians that did that. Absolutely.
Now, this one coming in from, do appreciate it. According to John, says so. According to Mark, the Catholic Church should be persecuted, yet he complained about things Christians have done in the past.
Yes, I've complained about things Christians have done in the past. Yes, I think that is a pattern of enforcing their religion upon others, and holy wars, crusades, witch burnings, all of this kind of stuff. None of that happened because they believed in the well-being of people. They believed in the divinity of God, especially things like doctrine of discovery, where they basically went to a country, and if the people there weren't Christian, nobody lived there. That was their estimation. There weren't people unless they were Christian. Look
like the United States.
Yeah.
So our founders were a bunch of fucking bigoted pieces of shit, and you don't like them, right?
What do you mean?
Well, you don't like our founders. I mean, they didn't want, like, all those Enlightenment people, like John Locke, who said that you really can't govern without being Christian. He wanted laws where you had to be a Christian to even govern. John Locke was a real piece of shit, wasn't he?
No, he had some good ideas. He had some bad ideas. I'm not judging.
Like Hitler? Would you say that Hitler had some good ideas?
Excuse me, I'm answering. I'm judging the doctrine of the church. These guys have had a couple of thousand years, and you sort of like, oh, we got it right morally. The Christians have been screaming and kicking into currently, some sort of moral semblance of acceptability by people.
Well, I just read it right now because I remember hearing there's actually no, but I don't remember if it was with marriage or something else. So I just looked it up real fast on Grok. So I don't know the details, but yes, there's no legal age of marriage here in California. You don't have to be a minimum age. All you need is just the parents' consent. So as long as they have, let me see, what did Grok say? Yeah, you must obtain parental consent and a court order. So yeah, technically, if you have those things, if you're underage, you can get married here in California. Yeah, I completely agree, Profeta. I expect California to have a law like that. Yeah, right. Age of consent is crazy in some states too. Yeah.
all this time. That's why people are leaving the churches in droves. Their ideas are horrible, and they have been horrible for quite some time. And this is the people, I might add, that claim to have a direct line to the moral master of the universe. How? Wow.
Good news. Okay, 2 seconds. Andrew wants to say something, but first, folks, thanks so much for those of you who have donated to GoFundMe so far. We just went up 2% during the stream, so thank you very much for those donations. That's for our camera lenses, which will be used for these upcoming in-person debates, including the one that you can see, for example, on the bottom right of your screen right now, Destiny, which August 5th, if you want to debate him in Los Angeles, shoot me an email at moderndayDebate@gmail.com. Or if you're in the Chicago area, you want to debate Andrew on August 8th. As you can see, the
he's just
physical
chilling.
benefits. I think I just said it had benefited society from his knowledge. And yeah, I mean, people have contributed ideas and have benefited. But, you've got to in some way confirm them, and applying a practicality to it is probably a good idea. So we can actually implement it in a way that can help us. Because if you have some sort of philosophical concept that you can go, oh, well, I presuppose God, therefore everything, therefore science, it doesn't actually help us with anything.
This one from
Can science confirm philosophy?
Can science confirm a study?
A study?
A study,
yeah. Philosophy is the study, as a study.
Can science confirm philosophy?
Can science confirm philosophy? Probably not. I don't know what.
Then why are you using it?
Science is philosophy.
Then why are you using it?
It is methodological naturalism. So science is philosophy.
Science is philosophy. Then if the church gives us philosophy, it's science, isn't it, idiot?
Well, it doesn't give us philosophical naturalism.
Oh, it doesn't give us philosophy. Really? Aquinas?
Yeah.
Now, these weren't philosophers that didn't revolutionize how philosophy was looked at? Really?
So they might have, philosophy may have its grounds. A number of Christians have contributed. A number of atheists as well. I mean, pointed out Hume.
And Hume was building off of
Karl Popper.
And who were they building off of?
You're just pointing out the history of human knowledge as building off previous people. And you pointed out Aristotle, who wasn't a Christian.
This one from Adrius
freaking muted him, damn it.
The whole UK government must be locked because they covered groom gangs. Doesn't, by Mark's standard, giving children to PDF files to avoid Nazism is leading to harm reduction, so is moral. I don't know what that meant. Folks, you can always put a donation to the GoFundMe, even if it's just $5, and then you can put as
than to actually use it in a way that helps people. And that's why secular humanism is better, because
religious people are going to use
an entire bunch of people over in the Middle East because my God doesn't like them. I can go, well, I care about all humans.
No, you'll just kill them because you don't like their God.
Thank you.
You'll just kill them because you don't like.
This is from Austin Cameron. Says Mark is a supremacist who endorses child genital mutilation and enslaving via hormone subscription services. He worships arguments of authority by faith. Did we discover math or invent it, Mark?
Okay, so we invented math for a start. You basically have to you have to strawman the hell out of me and throwing these accusations.
We invented math, guys. 2 + 2 = 4 wouldn't have been a thing without us humans. We invented that, guys. Mark, the smart atheist, is just enlightening us and teaching us a lot of valuable information tonight.
It doesn't make you look clever. It doesn't make you look cool. It just means that other Christians are going to look at you and go, hey, you're bearing false witness and you're looking really unconvincing. And a lot of people will move away from Christianity because of the example that you're setting. There's a reason why under 1 Peter 3:15 there is an obligation to do so with kindness and gentleness, because this makes people go, that's horrific. And I want you to understand that.
That's horrific. So they always secular humanists, they always go to what causes people pain? The Craig method. We know it's bad because it hurts, because it fucking hurts. or if it causes pain and suffering. And it's like there's a lot of things that hurt that aren't bad for us, and there's a lot of things that don't hurt that are that aren't good for us. And a lot of people have different definitions of what hurts and what's bad. You know, I always bring it to like the abortion argument. Let's say you have two atheists. You have a woman that's pregnant and she wants to abort the baby, and she goes to two atheists, and one atheist says, well, you know what, you should keep the baby because that aborting it would be killing a life, and that's bad. Also, our population's down. It would really help human flourishing if you gave birth to the baby to help the population and all that stuff. That would be better for human flourishing. And the other atheist might go, well, you should definitely go ahead with the abortion because you know, your body autonomy, for one, that's not good for human flourishing. You need your bodily autonomy. And also, two, you know, it's not going to be good for your health, for your body and stuff like that. You could also die during childbirth. And also, two, it's not going to be good for human flourishing if you don't have choices. You know, so which atheist is correct in that situation? They both have the goal of human flourishing, but which one is right? Which one is right? If they both have the goals and they can make cases for human flourishing, well, which one is right?
This is the reason why your churches are failing. Understand it.
This one coming in from, do appreciate it, Crimson King says, Skid Mark. I think that they're referencing like
good. I like that. That's good.
Scabby McScabberson says, James says, Mark, can we kill mentally disabled children in the womb? Mark says, yeah, there's enough of us already. My guess is you think that's a straw man, Mark. What are your thoughts?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, I didn't say that. But, you know, I do support that I shouldn't risk a woman's life, and she has a right to bodily autonomy. Absolutely.
Oh,
but I think that there's a point at which you give her the option in the embryonic stage. And if she takes on the responsibility, then she needs to be held to that responsibility. But I think before that point, you know, there should be an option for her to maintain her bodily autonomy. And I'm not thrilled about that. I just think that is the moral thing to do.
If women collectively, since they have the rights over abortion and bodily autonomy, if they collectively decide in mass that they want to eliminate fetuses because they can scientifically determine if there's traits in those fetuses that they don't like, would you stop them, Mark?
No.
Okay.
What do you mean, fetus or an embryo?
Fetus.
Well, we should be able to tell from an embryo. All we need is like, you know,
yeah, but if it was, we can only tell from a fetus.
It depends how far along it is, and you know, I don't see
16 weeks.
Well, before it's conscious, then yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. So if they were just eliminating them based on the fact they didn't have blue eyes, you don't have any problem with that.
No.
Okay.
From One Shot says people like Mark actually drive agnostic atheist.
What a fucking idiot, dude. So if it was 16 weeks, you could, and if they didn't have blue eyes and you wanted to eliminate them, Mark has no problem with it. Gee, who else did that in history? I can't think of his name right now.
Just fence sitters over to Christianity. He's too self-absorbed to realize how stupid his arguments and worldviews are once they get a proper interrogation by informed Christians. Mark?
Yeah, sure. Then you should be encouraging me, not insulting me. You should be saying, hey, do more. It's really funny, the gaslighting that I encounter off these people. They sort of say, hey, I was an atheist and then I became a Christian because of you. The funny thing is that the other people that do it are flat earthers. They go, oh, well, I believed in the globe until I heard you. Like, dude, seriously, you think gaslighting's going to work? It's weird. Stop being weird, please.
This one from, do appreciate, according to John, says, to say to Andrew, quote, so Christian of you, presupposes that in Christianity people are expected to behave well. That goes against your thesis, though, Mark.
Well, I'm simply taking the obligation under 1 Peter 3:15 that you should always take the opportunity to share your the reason for your faith with other people, but do so in gentleness and kindness. I do know a lot of Christians that find the way that Wilson and his followers handle themselves, they will rail against it as well. I think you may be hated just as much by a lot of Christians as atheists, to be honest with you, Wilton.
And you, I would say, are just as hated by atheists as you are by Christians, yeah?
This one
Probably, yeah. Who
Speaking.
knows?
Yeah.
I don't really pay attention.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you are. So I mean, what
Okay.
kind of all the
Oh.
criticisms you give me, you're guilty of the same one.
Oh, what atheists hate me?
The ones in the chat who said that they're atheists and they fucking hate you. Those ones. Maybe.
Speakeasy. Speakeasy
Oh, yeah,
says,
the guy that, yeah, it's great. Well
says
done.
from Mark, would it be better if every human believed there was consequences for bad actions during your life, or if everyone believed your actions on earth?
Well, that's the thing. I walk with the spirit. It's they always want to hold Christians to like a standard. Like they could talk to like us however they want, but as soon as we, fire back at them, it's like, oh, what? This is very Christian of you. It's not very Christian of you to do that. And it's like, oh, okay. The Bible doesn't. The Bible's not just a one-line thing that just says be nice. That's not all there is to the Bible and Christianity. It's not just be nice to people. That's not it. According to Mark, if a person wants to harm themselves, it isn't wrong. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as long as he gives consent.
Don't ultimately matter.
There's always consequences for what you do. Our choices will always lead to some kind of consequence in our life. And if you really do things that are bad, you're going to end up with a really shitty life like Wilson. But if you actually
No, what about like corrupt corrupt politicians, or even corrupt just rich people who, there's some people that never have consequences to their actions. More like it happens. Some people that do a lot of shitty things and never suffer any consequences for it. So no, it's not just something like, oh, they're gonna have a shitty life. It's like, no, like if they do something shitty and they get away with it and they have no conscience at all, they don't care that they did a bad thing, then they're not gonna have a bad life as long as they never get caught.
want a good life, we're proposing this philosophy to say, hey, how do we actually get to being a good and well life? So the idea that, hey, because we've got an afterlife, it has consequences. Well, not necessarily. I could be the most awful person, repent on my deathbed, and get into heaven. There's nothing against that in the Christian faith.
This one coming in from, do appreciate it. Landon says,
Andrew doesn't get a rebuttal to that. It's like, no, you can't just be an awful person your whole life and then your deathbed be like, I'm sorry, and then that's it. Like, no, it's not that quite that simple. Yes, you can be forgiven by God. You can repent and live a Christian life, and yes, you will be forgiven by God, but you have to actually, live the Christian life and repent for your sins.
oh, let me unmute Andrew. I got you. If you've been
Just real quick, I've been trying to mute myself, so I say, just real quick, Mark, can you explain to the audience how my life is shitty?
This part's great. Yeah, this was amazing.
Hate a lot of people. You seem to be yelling.
I don't hate anybody. You've been yelling,
really?
Mark, not me.
You have been yelling, Andrew. I'm not sure.
No, you've been yelling, Mark, not me. I haven't been yelling at all.
Yeah, you have.
No, but you've been screaming, Mark.
No, I've just been yelling.
No, you've been screaming, Mark.
So loud and interrupting that I have to get what I
want. You have to scream.
Because in a debate, what generally decent people do is they have an exchange of ideas and let each other talk.
Yeah, can you tell me how my life is terrible?
You just interrupt people with a loud voice.
Yeah, can you tell me how my life is terrible, though, Mark? How's my life terrible?
Do you want me to go into it? Do you really want me to go into it? Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
How many kids do you have?
I have 5. I have three step kids, and then I have 2 biological children.
3 step kids, really?
I'm sorry, is secular humanists against having stepchildren?
No.
Well, why would that be horrible then, Mark?
Well, you are a hate-filled bigot, Andrew.
Well, I don't understand what that has to do with me having stepchildren, Mark.
Well, look how mad you are. You're angry
about what?
People just for simply living their life.
I'm confused, though. Well, how is it that me having stepchildren?
I was like, what? You're a hateful person because you have stepchildren. Like, what? What? How does that make any sense? Yeah, what does that have to do with anything? You're a hateful person, Andrew. Well, how am I hateful? Well, don't you have stepchildren? Like, what? What's the connection?
And
Can somebody explain
you know,
how me having stepchildren from the secular humanist perspective means that I have a horrible life? Can you explain that to me, Mark?
well, it's not having stepchildren. It's basically having, I mean, you champion this nuclear family, right? With this, you know, you should stay with people,
well,
not divorce, things like that.
Cross-generational families.
You should have, you know, sort of a stable relationship where you don't swap partners and you don't have sex before marriage. And you've done those things.
So if I was a drug addict, I couldn't advocate against doing drugs.
You say that people have a horrible life to have sex before marriage and all of these horrible things, but you've done it yourself. So
you mean while they're doing those things? So if I said you're a drug addict and that's going to lead to a terrible life as long as you're on drugs, and then when you stop doing drugs, it'll be a less horrible life, you would agree, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well then what the fuck is your argument, dummy?
Well, you're just a horrible person.
Oh, you're just a horrible person. My argument is you're a smoky man bad. Oh, that was fun, Mark. I appreciate that.
This guy, look at him.
This guy.
Wow.
This guy. Smoky man bad and baldy man dumb. What a stupid argument. And this is always like their go-to to people that for people that argue against Andrew. They're always like, well, you did these things and now you're telling other people not to do it. And Andrew's 100% correct. Like if you if you're a drug addict, if you're a recovering drug addict and you did a lot of drugs but now you're sober and you tell other people, hey, don't do drugs, is that bad advice or good advice? Or does it not matter because, well, he used to do drugs? Like, it doesn't mean anything. Like, because Andrew used to live a certain way or did a lot of these things, but now he doesn't do these things anymore. And he's trying to tell other people who are currently doing these things that, hey, maybe it's not the best. And by the way, it's not so much that you're going to have a horrible life if you do these things. It's just not the most optimal. It's not the most optimal. And it's not I would say you're not going to have the worst life, but you're not going to have the happiest life. Like, you're not going to have the best life is what Andrew is trying to say. It's just not the most optimal. But they always do that. It's like, well, you did these things. But it's like, yeah. You know, listen, even if Andrew Wilson came on here and said, hey, don't smoke cigarettes, people, you could call him a hypocrite because he smokes, but would he be wrong?
Dude.
This one from...
You obviously... Look at you.
Oh, wait, hold on. This one from Red Fox says, Mark, Andrew conceded his entire worldview in this debate. Why are you afraid to concede points? Do you see an obligation to listen to his points and reflect on how incoherent your worldview is, or at least get better counterpoints?
No, it's not that, because I did concede points. I did say Christianity's done good things for the world. I've said all kind of conceding points that, hey, I don't help my side. I certainly have done that. The problem is that
I want to see. I want to skip forward to see if I could find the part where Mark flips out over the racism. How Andrew's super racist.
Here's what I'm saying again. At a certain point, well, is it okay for you if you go to somebody intellectually disabled and convince them without, and don't have, to sleep with them? Is that okay?
Intellectually disabled how?
Like Mark intellectually disabled, or like I don't know. If there's any women that want to have and wanted to have sex with Mark, are they wrong for trying to convince the mentally disabled to want to have sex with them?
They don't understand the consequences of their decisions that exist, like my pen or my coffee cup.
On the previous super chat, you laid at the feet of Christianity.
Because every time you want to sort of say, hey, we're responsible for science and all of these things. And
I got that one. Jojo said,
technically, but if we're in favor of paying more to help people, what's the freaking difference? No, don't let him answer. Keep on going. He doesn't get the last word. No.
I'm not even going to take the last word. Just ask a question. What's coercion?
Yeah, I'm not letting him get the last word. I'm not.
Okay. You would get the last word. Answer the question.
What's coercion? We're looking at who will be willing to help people and help humanity.
What is coercion?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find that part, but I guess supposedly in Australia you can't say short for Aboriginal. That's offensive. That's like the R word here in America. So Mark spurred out about it and was calling Andrew like the worst racist to ever live and stuff because he said, which that doesn't mean anything to us here in America. We don't care if you say it means nothing to us. So like he's flipping out about it. We're just like, yeah, whatever. We don't care. But yeah, this was a great debate. It's a long debate, but honestly, it's really entertaining. Even though it is 7 hours long, it is really entertaining. And if you want to see a secular humanist get destroyed, I always get a kick out of seeing them to get destroyed. And if you want to see them get destroyed for 7 hours straight, then check this out on Modern Day Debates. Andrew Wilson, another brilliant job by Andrew Wilson. What do you think? Do you think Mark's going to keep going, or do you think he should retire? Leave a comment in the comment section below. Give this video a like if you liked it. And if you really liked it, please consider subscribing to my channel. It'll be very much appreciated. Help me get to 20K. I have my sight sets on 20K, so help me get there. And also check out Modern Day Debates as well and sub to their channel as well. They have a lot of debates just like this one.